SLOTHERHOUSE.
From a director I've never heard of, from a film I laughed at when I heard the title. This film has no good being as good as it is, but is it bad good, or is it good bad, or is it just not worth watching and you think I've lost the plot? Let's talk about SLOTHERHOUSE. Emily Young, a senior, wants to be elected as her sorority's president. She adopts a cute sloth, thinking it can become the new mascot and help her win, until a string of fatalities implicate the sloth as the main suspect in the murders. So it's only PG-13 and it's an hour and 33 minutes long. It's been out for about a month, but you may not have heard of it because it obviously hasn't had much of a wider audience. I doubt it even went to cinemas. It's probably straight to VOD. This is one that I kind of recommend you checking out if you love B horror movies that are clawing at trying to be a decent film. Like I mentioned in the beginning of this film, it's filmed really well. It's surprisingly at how good a film this is. And what I mean by that is that when you go into these type of films, you expect production to be quite low. It's not an indie film. You expect a B horror movie to embrace what it is. And it's kind of doing that. But because it's a PG-13, it never really gets into the full-on gore that you really want it to really embrace kind of ticking all the things that you have in a B horror movie. And that's because it's trying desperately to claw itself into an A horror movie. It sits somewhere in between. So what we have here is a classic 90s, 2000s movie of like people trying to become better people. But that's hard to be when you're in a sorority and the people amongst you are just sucky. You want them to die. So when you have this baddie, the sloth, you kind of are rooting for the sloth. Until you have a protagonist that you kind of are rooting for as well, and then you kind of want them to survive. So there's two sort of films in here. The coming of age sorority girls movie as to who is going to be the better girl and beat the kind of den mother that is kind of sucky. That is a movie that we've had loads of. Then you add the really silly idea that a sloth could be a crazy killer, and that's where the movie works best. So my top tip would be like kind of zone out for the first 40 minutes because it is kind of introducing the sorority girls and you won't really pay attention to who's who. There's a couple of characters you might laugh at and go, yeah, they're fairly interesting, but mostly you wouldn't care if any of them were knocked out and decapitated in a great serial killer way. When you do get to that part, the reason why it's called SLOTHERHOUSE, and there's a little bit of story in there, not that you would care much about the story, but when you get to the SLOTHERHOUSE killings, they are for the most part quite fun and creative. There are things in here in this movie that you would never have imagined seeing a sloth do, and those are the bits I was enjoying most. When they were embracing the silliness, not taking the film too seriously, that's when this works well. So even though it's only a PG-13, there were still moments in here that I thoroughly enjoyed, and I wanted them to desperately kind of just jump in more to that horror aspect. Never quite reaches that though. I don't know why. They were trying to maybe get a wider audience and appeal to more masses rather than that kind of 15 or R-rated. Had this been an R-rated SLOTHERHOUSE movie, it would have sat quite well in that B horror movie version. And here we have, it's not sure what it is, but the second half or the 40 minutes of the movie at the end is really fun. When it comes to the design of the actual sloth, it's borderline ridiculous. You can totally see at some points it's a little bit animatronic or controlled by puppeteering. Other times it's just literally a soft toy. That's what it looks like. And other times they have done really great work on the face, giving you a sense of disbelievability that you have to put aside, but sometimes your imagination just runs with it. Eventually you will forget that it's just this stupid toy that's obviously been animated and go with it. Once you go with it, I think you're gonna have so much more fun as to what's going on in this movie with the sloth. This title is often better than the movie. SLOTHERHOUSE works on so many grounds. Think about it. It is that kind of movie. It works till it doesn't, and when it works again, you're enjoying it. So I'm going to give this 3 Nicolas Cages out of 5.
You got one. Congratulations.
Never in a million years did I think I would be giving it that mark, because essentially it's not a great film, but it also is rather enjoyable. And I think you need to go into this movie knowing that you're watching a movie called Slotherhouse, but it also doesn't quite reach its potential because of that age restriction, but also has a lot of fun with what it is. So this might be a good introduction for youngsters, like PG-13, watching with family into that kind of genre. It's a little bit timid, but actually has no right being as good as it is, which is still, I'm still amazed. So let me know what you think about this movie once you've seen it. Definitely give it a go, because it is worth a one-time watch. Let me know your thoughts down below. Give me your favorite ridiculous slaughter movie like this. You know, you get the genre of the slaughter movies that we've had so many times, and then you get that subgenre, which is this, definitely. And we're getting so many of those recently, like Cocaine Bear, just to name one of a million that is still coming. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Thanks for watching this review, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long Tuesday.